What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Attack Productions, and today we present Time Wars. And today, we're just in the tournament of power, we're throwing out decks, and today's matchup is Android 18 taking on Ribrianne. Hope you all enjoy, let's get into it. What is going on, Adam?
Hey, Bancroft, it's good to be back. Good to go with one of these lesser-known matchups, but pretty significant to the team. If you remember, Android 18 was caught in a trap from Ribrianne, where she used a trap that kept people without love in their heart, kind of pinned down. And Android 18 begins to realize that she actually does have love in her life, and that cold, robotic heart starts to turn into a heart of flesh.
There are multiple fights in the tournament of power, and we're actually going to bounce around a lot because we actually talked about it afterwards. And at the end of this video, you'll see the next matchup will be actually a fight that takes place before this fight happens. And I will mention that this fight actually happens twice in the show, and I did a lot of looking because I had to go back over certain things. And I realized, oh man, we're missing a lot. So we do have Ribrianne, which is a very old leader. Just for reference, this is a TB1 leader. So one of those old school leaders, I need 4 life just to awaken. It's auto on attack. It just searches the top two cards of the deck. You get to add 1 of the maidens to your deck, which is practically the whole deck when you're playing it this way. And then on the awaken side, if you have certain cards on board, you can just KO cards, which is really nice. Now, about 20 sets later, we have Android 18. You want to talk about the leader real quick?
Yeah, there wasn't really a great Android 18 leader that was Tournament of Power focused. But I wanted to kind of stick with the idea of, family and, Krillin and kind of the way that he's loved Android 18 through a lot of her stoicism. And I thought this was a good leader to kind of display that. So that's why I kind of went with this one. So it turned out to be a pretty good match because there is a lot of green stuff. Unfortunately, with this particular format, we don't dip into a whole lot of just the green good stuff. So, yeah.
You're going to see next turn, I play a unique, I would say, Z extra card, and I'll talk about that in a second. Not Z extra, but a Z card in general. But the card on play, it was a card that came out like an EB1 set, which did kind of help buff this deck a little bit. It's Ribrianne, Pretty Cannon Unleash. And this was really good because on play, you search top 5 cards of your deck, but then you can also activate main, burst 2, pay 1. If you have 3 or more green energy, you can play a Universe 2 card with energy cost 3 or less from your deck with a different character name on it. And that could just help you set up other plays. Because one of the plays I want to go into this deck is Jamez, I think his name is, teleporting Jamez.
Yeah.
Because he just reduces the cost of my cards by 2. So then it makes like the 5 cost 3 instead, which is really great for trying to get certain cards out as soon as possible. Or even playing like, it doesn't give you a specific cost. So like the Rosie still costs 3 green to play. But like it just allows things to be cheaper, and he could kind of protect himself with an activate main ability. But yeah, so here you see I'm playing Unison as well. I'm playing the Z Unison because it's green deck. And because this deck's a very old deck, a lot of cards have full cost value, unfortunately. So I have to like go around that. But then I'm like, but I need protection. It's green. Having a Unison on board allows me to do Dormant Potential Unleash. So that way I could just have some form of like pseudo negate put into the deck there, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, and the Android 18 deck, it likes to get cards out of my drop area and be able to potentially play them from underneath my leader. And so really, really cheap ways to get it out, things like dual attackers, pretty big cards also. The Unison is really nice in it also. And if I can get enough cards underneath my leader, there are effects that can take place.
Yeah. So here we're sitting at a total of 5 life to 6 life. You have an alternate way. You've already awakened at this point. I'm still waiting to take enough damage to get down to that point. And you are the turn player here with going first. You have 3 open energy right now. So like I think you awaken on this turn actually as well. So I can't remember if you awakened last turn or not. But regardless, like blue has so many cheap options, even in an archetype based deck. Like you pass turn with 2 open energy. So like I know I'm like, oh, okay, something's gonna happen. Like you got protection here. So here we play that Ribrianne again. I immediately just go into the burst effect. I do have it on a little bit increased speed just because of it's playing online and things happening around us. We have to click pauses here and there. But like I guess I did the search. And then I explained to you it is a blind counterplay. So like you could choose to counterplay a card before it comes into play, and you do. And I couldn't remember if there was a card with deflect, so I'm going to check anyways just to make sure. And there is one option I do have, and I'm going to see if I play it. It's in my energy right now. Let's see if I'm smart enough to grab it though. Oh, I play a different one. All right, so looking back on you, like you see those mistakes. It might have been the first card I saw with deflect, so I chose it anyways. So this is the Rosie I was talking about earlier. Now Rosie, on play, if it's played from your hand, your opponent has to choose 2 cards in your hand, and then this card gains triple attack for the turn, which is really great. The card I was hoping I would have played, truth be told, was the promo one, Ribrianne, whatever her name is.
Chateau, yeah.
Which has an activate main for 2 energy. If your leader is green, you play this card from your hand, which is nice. It pops a card, no barrier, but it has an activate main for 1 energy. If you're, it's because it costs 4 energy. I think that's why I didn't do it. I couldn't do the effect yet. That's right. The activate main on that one's 1 energy, but you need to have 4 more energy. But then you can send this card to the warp and play a Ribrianne with energy cost of 5 from your hand.
Well, and I'm already seeing that you're stacking your hand destruction Ribriannes in the drop zone.
Yeah.
So I know it's only a matter of time before you just, force me to put anywhere from 4 to 6 cards out of my hand, which is going to be devastating.
The problem with today's like newer decks, that's not a problem. So many cards now will just draw a card or search for effects on play that like, even though this deck isn't like devoted to like pure hand control, spending 2 energy to hit 2 cards in your hand ultimately does me no good when I can't play cheap cards. So it's kind of a tactic. Like if I can get a board established, then yeah, they're good to go straight up. Use the effects.
Yeah, and on the counter side of that, blue loves to put cards either back into the hand or into the deck.
Mm-hmm.
So you have so many ways to find your cards that board control really isn't going to be control for long.
Yeah.
So
here we see you got me down to 3 life, which is just double strikes are nice.
Yeah, especially when you get to play them for 1.
The awaken on this leader is you draw 2, so I can awaken whenever I really want. It doesn't really matter. The problem is that on the front side, it's just a draw 1 card. So I would like to try to awaken on my turn to get at least the search off the leader attack, but unfortunately that's not going to happen. I do have to awaken, get the extra 5k here, and then using a super combo to kind of get out of the attack.
Yeah, it is interesting going back and looking at some of those old leaders and seeing the vast difference in, I guess, maybe focus between archetype heavy decks and ones that maybe do better in modern kind of the meta breakdown with just general colored good stuff.
Yeah, and like so a lot of that breaks down to obviously the power creep. Like as the game gets further on down the road, you need to incorporate new mechanics, new cards that are stronger than the previous cards to force players to kind of want to buy new things, or at least have a reason to get those new cards. And so yeah, that's what kind of happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I mean, when's the last time you've seen Ribrianne do anything at a tournament?
Oh no, I don't know if. Well, yeah, long time ago, right?
That was the Xeno. I think that was Xeno Ribrianne, or it was like something else Ribrianne. Like it used the maiden engine, but yeah,
it could have even been Wish.
Quite possible, yeah. So here I think we're going to turn 4 finally. So now I can play better cards and hopefully get the engine off that I want to get off. The problem that I also want to talk about is like a couple of 5-drop options I have. I think there's a couple options. I have the deck in front of me right now, so I'm going to go through it real quick. So there's a Maiden Squadron Leader Ribrianne. There's the Ribrianne Avatar of Affection. And then I think that's it. Actually, I think that's it. I don't think there's any more. Because there's a 7-drop that you could do. You have to evolve it on top of another card and whatnot. Yeah. So we got Jamez coming out on the board now, which now allows me to reduce costs. I use Ribrianne. Yeah, I use the 1-drop because you didn't call it counterplay. So I'm able to pull him out to the board, which is really nice because he is considered a Squadron Maiden. So now I can use that 3 energy if I wanted to play a better card. No, so he's considered, sorry, Universe 2, not in the Maiden. The 1-drop plays a Universe 2 card from your deck.
Got it.
Had to clarify that real quick. So here we're paying the 3 energy, and we're playing the Avatar of Affection. So Avatar of Affection, triple strike. When you play this card from your hand, choose all of your opponent's battle cards from your barrier and KO them. So I get a nice little board wipe, which you did have, I think, one blocker. I think your Unison's also a blocker, right?
It is. That's correct.
Yeah. So I'm at least getting at least rid of one of your blockers, now I can at least get some attacks into you. But when this card is removed from the battle area by an opponent's skill or KO, I can choose up to 1 green battle card, which costs 4 or less for my drop. Play with skills to get it for the turn. So like this deck also has ways of like kind of bursting cards as well. So I have ways of kind of like when this card's gone, I could play another card, and then I can play another card if that card's gone.
Yeah. And you having that card on the board, I was having some PTSD from the green 5-drop Majin Buu that Chase plays all the time with his green deck. And so I was constantly thinking, I can't get rid of this card because it's just going to play itself again.
Yeah.
And because we're not playing, in person, I can't just pick it up and look at it. I got to think, okay, what are those effects? And I didn't want to waste too much time asking. But it's a scary card. It's a triple strike, and it, like you said, it plays something when it gets KO'd.
Yeah. So here I'm using Jamez's effect to kind of warp it, and they'll be able to return at the beginning of my next main phase or turn with one or the other. Beginning of your next turn. So yeah, it comes before everything happens, which does open the counter, so you could technically counterplay it before it hits the board.
Now I see that you've got that healing pod in energy. Did you feel like that was? Did you want to try to get that out, or would that have maybe helped with at least card draw? Do you think?
I saw it early enough, it's worth playing. But at this point in the game, like, yeah, it may have been nice to have played it, but I think where my hand was at, I was like, I just don't want to play it. It was just one of those things. I was like, I don't think it's worth playing. So here you did remove it, right? Yeah. So I played a 4-drop Ribrianne, which keep in mind, it only removes its skills for the turn. So at the beginning of my next turn, I get all its skills back. And I think this is the ones that will play another chain, like literally right afterwards as well. I'm pulling it up real quick while you're doing your turn.
Yeah, and that 5-drop that I just played is pretty key to the deck. If I have a Krillin in my combo area, I can pay 1 and play it from underneath my leader. And when I do, I can play a Krillin that's a 3-cost, either I believe it's from my drop or from my combo area. So I could potentially play the same Krillin that I combo with. I just obviously lose the combo power, but being able to get that 3-cost out there that has dual attack.
Real quick, I had this card in my hand previously, and because we're playing on a webcam game, I had to put a card on my deck. I looked, I'm like, oh wait, I had a counterplay. Can we do this real quick? And you're going to let me do it, obviously.
Absolutely.
That Ribrianne, the one you got rid of, by the way, I just want to point out there, if it had its skills, I could pretty much, it's a pseudo negate using its auto. I choose 1 green card in my hand, placing the drop, and then when your opponent attacks with a card, negate the attack, then negate that skill for the turn. So like it's the card I play as a 1 of in the deck, but like it itself is a inbuilt negate. But then also if it's popped, I get to play a 3-cost. But you got rid of when it had no skills, so it didn't really matter.
Right, during the same turn that Ribrianne got popped. Yeah.
So here,
or the other Ribrianne, the 5-drop.
Yeah. So here Jamez comes back. No counter pose is great for me. And once again, I still have the 1-drop on the board. You haven't touched it yet. I'm like, cool. I'm going to hopefully use this effect. I think I debate about either using the effect or just straight up paying the 2. Because I think I do play the promo 1 this turn. So here, first we get the swing off the leader. Just getting a draw out of there, getting an attack out. See if you want to play any gates. Keep in mind, we didn't talk about this early on, but there's no secret rares in this game, so there's no baby hatch coming my way.
Well, and I also know that you've got 5 energy plus the marker, so you could potentially get, 6 cards out of my hand if you need
potentially. Yeah, no, But then that would kind of leave me wide open. So here I'm paying 4 energy, it looks like. And I think I'm playing this extra card that's already in my energy. Yes, I am. This is a card I forgot about, actually, until I started looking through the old cards again. It's activate main, choose up to 2 Maiden Squadrons with energy cost 4 or less from your drop. You get to play them. And it doesn't specify, like, 2 different names or anything like that. So I just play 2 of the same card here, which is when this card's played, your opponent chooses 2 cards in your hand and places them in the drop area. So for 4 energy, you're practically getting rid of 4 cards, which is kind of nice. It kind of gets me in a better place. And seeing you get rid of a negate blocker with 2 open energy and 3 life. I was like, okay, he got some stuff still. Let's see if I can thin this out just a little bit.
It is blue. But you know what's also funny about that is I don't think that I had enough sparking for my dimension magics. I think I only had 3 cards in my drop.
Oh, because your leader naturally floods cards underneath it, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So now you got a big scary board. I've got 3 left. You've got 2.
So we got 17 hitting the board. And I think you meet the requirements for it, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, because I have a Z leader, I think.
Yeah. Which hurt. that I think I had something I wanted to do. I'm like, because my hand's not great right now. Like it's not in the greatest of place. I pay 1 energy here. I'm using the promo finally to play with its how did I play that for 1 energy? I thought it was 2 energy.
Let's check it out.
There it is.
You know,
activate main.
It's okay. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, so bringing the 17 out kind of is a little bit canon because if you watch the fight, he comes in.
He does come. Yeah.
So that was kind of fun. That's all right. That's on us. Ribrianne.
I'm double checking the 1-drop.
Oh, no, Jamez wouldn't have.
Oh yeah, that's it. I didn't play the skill.
Okay.
I didn't play the skill up. I used Jamez. Okay. That's right. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah. Because he reduced the cost of 1 energy. Wow, sorry about that. And here you can see that I immediately use my other energy to use the activate main, which allows me to play a 5-drop, and then I go into this Ribrianne right here, which is the avatar once again. Get that triple strike out there, and it's just idea like, do you have a negate? Let's find out. I did use the unison effects. I'm kind of going for game here, and just to see if you so happen to have get rid of another card from your hand, pretty much.
Yeah, and here you're just clarifying what do these Z-stacked cards do.
Because this matters. I'm down to 2 life. I'm tapping out to go into this final strikes. I need to know, like, if you have a negate, or if you awaken out of this attack, where do I stand from here on out, pretty much.
Right.
And also, like, my attacks are limited, like, because of 17.
Exactly.
Because I think you had the requirement for it. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. And I opted to swing into. It's a triple strike, but it's 30K. I might need to go back over the audio later and put it on text on the screen. Like, I can't remember the exact conversation that happened in that moment because, like, I felt like you had a negate with your hand or something like that, or you might have been like combo out. I can't remember exactly what the conversation was, but I was like, I'm just gonna swing the units and clear it out, and then it's one less thing that he has at that point to do stuff with, and just try to hold out.
Yeah. So at this point in time, I play the Krillin, which gets rid of something ignoring barrier. Let's see. Choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, place it at the bottom of its owner's deck. And it does have dual attack and is a blocker with deflect.
That Ribrianne did have an effect where I could play a 4 or less card, so I played another Jamez. I got the gate blocker here, getting that out of the way. Jamez is really just going to be a combo piece here, just hopefully to hold out 1 more attack, you know.
Yeah.
Here, we combo out here. You get 3 open energy still. You're paying 1. Playing this card, which kind of just allows you, I think, search cards and then restanding energy, which is if you added a card to your hand.
Exactly. I'm digging. You put something into your drop, I believe, and if I do, I get to restand.
Yeah. Then you pay 2 here for this Krillin. It's your super combo. And I didn't have, like, oh yeah, you had nothing else. That was your last card in your hand. And I was like, I don't have the energy to make this last combo. That's game. Like, that's what it breaks down to. That's
in the face. Girl fight.
That's today's match. Thank you all for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed. And until next time.